Masechta Bava basra, the Pei Dalet Amud Aleph. We're starting from Pei Gimel Amud Beis, where it says Gemara. Nothing you learned the Mishnah, so today we're going to start the Gemara right away. Yesterday we learned in the Mishnah Benegeya that if somebody sold Yafa and he gave him Rois or Rois and it was Yafis, neither of them can back out. We're going to talk about that today. Pei Gimel Amud Beis, where it says Gemara. Amud Beis by Gemara. So Amar Rav Chizda said, Macha lo yishava chamesh b'sheish. What's if he sold him something that's worth 5 for 6? Shtus, Einos Mekach works with Einos Shtus, that if the Mekach is worth 6, right? And then he sold it for 5, or he's 6 and he sold it for 7, that's called Einos Mekach. If the Mekach is 6. But if it was if it's less, if the Mekach was only 5 and he sold it for 6, that's called Einos Mais. That's Mais genat mit Geld, but it's Einos Mekach. Nevertheless, Rav Chizda holds like the Tana that says there's no difference between Einos Mekach, Einos Mais.
If they're supposed to be 6 to give it for 5?
Yeah, if it was supposed to be 6 and he gave him 5, so the Meicha could back out and say, hey, you cheated me. You knew you got something that's worth 6 and you got it for 5. I mean, you should have said something. Yeah, you should have said something. I had very similar to that. The Spalter gave me a couple of diamonds for when I was a chassan to choose from. And I went to Mati Scheinfeld. He's a good friend. Huh? No, I didn't lose. So Mati Scheinfeld looks through the diamonds. He says, pick this one. This one's worth, Mati Scheinfeld, Allah Shalom. He says, this one is worth for sure $25,000 to $30,000. I don't know what. So I said, I got to let him know. I'm not getting married with the wrong foot. So I went to.
He wanted much less.
The whole thing was $1,200. He was in a parcel. He gave me a parcel, and one of the diamonds was worth much more money. So I told.
So who said here's the word? He says $25,000.
Mati told me, you want a good diamond? This one, it's not worth $1,200. It's worth much more money. He was a diamond dealer. So I told Spalter, not Mati Spalter, the one on President Street. I forgot. Yossi Spalter. So he said he made a mistake. No, I bought it by Yossi. I don't think his father was alive at that time already. So he said he thanked me so much, and he gave me a better diamond, just for telling him. But that's all Mati told me what's worth. Okay. Anyway. So if he sold something that was worth 5, and he charged him 6, that's not Einos Mekach. It's Einos Mais. But Rav Chizda doesn't make a chilik, and he can still back out of it. Meaning the one that was cheated could back out of it. So the mother, Hukar. Now what happened? The price went up. And it went up to 8. So now, look, till now, who was cheated? The Lekeach was cheated. He paid extra. Now that the price went up to 8, he says, I'm being cheated. I can get 8. So the Meicha will. The Meicha now wants it back. He says, I cheated you. He's losing. He could sell it now for 8. But he tells Lekech, listen, I cheated you. We have to get out of this Mecca. No, it doesn't work that way. We look at this. Minasan. No, Minasano. Who was the one that was cheated? The Lekech, the buyer. So we say, Halekech Yachalak Zabay. The Meicha cannot back out, even though he's now losing money because it went up to 8. We say
when did he sell it? Now and later on?
So 1 minute. There's a time when the Mekach ends. When does the Mekach end? It doesn't end right away. We give the Lekeach time to go to a Seicha or to go to a Karev, if you remember from before, to figure it out. What the price? Like I did, yeah. So it says, Shia Zman Anit Lekeach Shenesana, the Mekach doesn't end yet. He has the time that it takes to go and show it to a seicha or to a friend. So in this middle of the time, what happened? The price jumped to 8. So the Meicha says, I'm losing now. I overcharge you to 6, but it's not worth 8. I want it back. So we say no. The too late. The Lekech can back out, not the Meicha. Why? Mishum the Malay, because the Lekech can say to the Meicha, listen, Ilu loy Nisan. If the Chatchili, you wouldn't have cheated me out. Lo you have a matzah. It would have been a final sale. You wouldn't be able to get out of it. Hashtadai Nisan, now that you cheated me, so you want now this. So now you want to back out? No, Matzis Hashtadai Nisan, Matzis Hadabach. Could you then get back out? And the Gemara is going to explain. This is called Lo Yehei Choyte Leniska. The guy sinned lechatchila, and jetzt will verdienen von dem, was gesündigt. Here he's saying he cheated him.
The Kech is getting a bargain here, though.
Now the Lekech is not only getting a bargain, he's going to have to pay him back the extra zuz that he charged him. Let's say it was worth 5 at the time of the sale. He sold it for 6, so he has to give him back that 1. And plus,
Now it's up worth 8.
and now it's worth 8, so he's making the 3. He's making pretty good, the Lekech. He's making a killing.
So what do you want from the Kech? You know?
No, he's right. No, but the Meicha wants to get out of it at the same time. He can't, because that's called a Choyte Niska. You chatchila sin, and now you want to gain because it went up in
What's
price.
the final din? They what?
That's it. Only the Lekech can back out if he wants to. If he doesn't want to back out, he doesn't have to back. Very good. It says the Gemara Tana. We have a raya from the Mishnah, a Tana from our Mishnah. What did our Mishnah say? Yafis. If lechatchila he told him, I'm selling you good stuff, good quality stuff. Menimtzu raya. So we find that it wasn't so good. It wasn't like he said. Like Keach Yachal Lazabay. Only the Lekech could back out because he was cheated. Not the Meicha. So Rashi explains, Rashbam explains, why would the Meicha want to back out if he sold him Rayis? Why does he want to back out? He was happy to get rid of it. So obviously it's talking about the price of the Rayis went up much higher. So the Meicha wants to take advantage of this deal and say, hey, I was cheated too. It's worth much more now. Gave 5, and the Lekech is the one that gets it. Yeah, that's it. And only the Lekech can back out, not the Meicha. And that's what he says. Obviously, that's what the Rashbam explains. That the Mikra Shadava Nikka Imai Beise Shavi Kafi Shahi B'Shas Amachir Poshla Adav Shal Yucha Amaka Ameicha Lazim Amecha Kibeze Ein Loi Kol Sivad Nitzatka Levatloi. Obviously, we're talking about that. It's talking about surely the Mishnahs come to teach us a case where bentayim nisyakru achitim, that even the bad chitim went up much higher, and that's why the Meicha wants to back out. So there's a reason why the Meicha wants to back out. We say he still can't back out. He can't tie now, I'm losing also. No, Lekech, you Lechatchila went to cheat the Lekech. You promised him Yafis, you gave him Reis. Now that the Reis went up a high price, you want to say, oh, I'm losing money also? It's too late.
He made money and cheated him.
Yeah, and now he's not happy with the money he made because it went up so much higher. He wants to make much more money.
Greedy guy.
That's the way it is. That's the world. Okay. Rav Chizda said, if he sold him something that's worth 6 and he sold it for 5, that's called Oynos Mekach. That's called Oynos Mekach because it was 6 lechatchila and he sold it for 5. Who's no? Huh? He gave, yeah, but now the Meicha is losing. Well, so given Vert, Zex, and he gave it away for 5. That was a mistake. And the Lekech should have told him that's worth 6. Yeah. He knew the value. He's buying. He knows what he's buying. He's not giving money unless he knows what he's getting.
So when you buy a diamond, you know the value?
So you go around before. You don't pay till you know what the value is.
Trusting Micah.
The Huzlu, no, you go around to others, to other Seichlim, like the Gemara said. Huzlu, now what happened? The price went down even further to 3. So now the Lekeach, Taka cheated the Meicha, he got it for cheaper. For 5. So he was happy, and then it went down to 3. He says, now I'm not happy, I'm losing money. So I want to back out because I cheated the Meicha. I cheated the Meicha. So the same thing we say, Minasan, who's the one that got cheated? The Meicha. A Meicha, Yachalase. Only the Meicha can back out. But Lo Lekeach, and not the Lekeach. The Amalei, because he says, if you wouldn't have cheated me, he tells the Lekeach, you would have told me that it's 6, and you would have paid 6. Lo have a matzah hadis bakach. But you wouldn't have been able to back out. You would have had to stick to the price of 6. Hashta matzis hada. Well, now you think you can back out because it fell down and it's for your benefit. You're saying you're also being cheated.
The stock market went down.
The stock market went down the minute they did the sale. Says you want to have a we have a eye from the Mishnah. What does it say in the Mishnah? Ra'ois. He told him, I'm selling you bad stuff. We find no faket. He sold him the good quality stuff. He made a mistake. The meicha could back out. The lekeach can back out. So what do you mean the lekeach? The lekeach gained out of it. He paid for rois and he got your face. What was the problem here? Obviously, Zok the Rashbam, that the price took a dip.
Again,
so even in the Mishnah also. So that's why he wants to back out even of the Yafis, because the Yafis fell so low, and he feels he's losing money, so he wants to back out also. So the Meichek could say to Lekei, hey, who cheated who? You cheated me by paying less than what it's really worth. Now that it fell even weiter, you want to get away with it? No way. In fact, one of my Kamashwan. So what is this Braisa come to teach us if we have a Mishnah? Must listen to me. What is Rav Chizda? I'm sorry. What is Rav Chizda telling us here with his Hira? If it's a Beferish Mishnah, you want to know it's not simple. Even must listen. If from our Mishnah, I would have thought did only Rav Chizda Tavai Motzah Hadabiru. By Rav Chizda's case, they're both losing money. The Chatchila, he cheated. Let's start off the Lekeach. The Meicha cheated the Lekeach. It was worth five. It was worth five, and he sold it for 6. So who's losing? The Lekeach. Now it went up to 8. So now the Meicha says, I'm losing 2. So maybe in such a case they can both back out, because you're talking about a real loss of money for both of them. In both cases, it's at the Lechatchila it was a loss for the Lekeach, and now it's a loss for the Meicha. But the Mishnah,
It's not a loss for the Lekeach. Maybe in the beginning it was a loss.
In the beginning it was a loss for the Lekeach, and now it's a loss for the Meicha. So you have both sides of the coin here. So the Lekeach, right? So the Lekeach claims at the time you cheated me, at the time of the sale. But the Meicha says that the sale hasn't finished because you went to find out the price and you still have that time, and it went up in price. So both can back out. We'll say both can back out. But in the Mishnah, it's talking about Rada Yoima Koina. What does that mean? It's talking about a case that there was no cheating of money. He paid for the rois, even for the rois, he paid the true value, whatever the value is for the rois. But in a case where it was Yafes, V'nimtzo rois, he said, I'm selling you good, and he found that it was not Yafa, it was bad quality. But the money that he paid was the worth of what he for the rice. There was no loss of money of the bad ones. There was no loss of money.
Even though he told them it's good ones?
Yeah, there was no loss of money. If the Meicha comes now and he says, I want to back out, right? The Meicha cheated him. He sold him rice, right? Not money, he cheated him the quality. So
how do you give him a different price?
Because he sold them for a cheap price. He sold the rice, right? He sold the rice for such a cheap price. Even and it was worth it. He didn't cheat him out of the money. It says Beferish, he paid the full amount of money.
What happened on the price went up?
Now just changed later
Now the rois. Oh, so Metchila it was B'mekach it was Yafes. He told me the Lekeach was supposed to get Yafes, and he gave him rois. So the Lekeach says, so now what happened? The price went up. So now the Meicha says, let me back out because I officially was supposed to sell you Yafes and I sold you rice. I want to get out of it. So we say no. The Lekeach could say it wasn't really a Mekach Tois. He says Kimetchila, when I bought the Chitim, it was our nas that they were really bad. I knew, nobody gives Yafes. Every Meich is a direct metfefa, and he cheats, and he doesn't give you the best quality. He gives you. So I knew the Chatchila I'm getting right, so I wasn't cheated. And he could say that, and he cannot. And I would say he can't. I don't have to back out.
What did he pay? What was
he paid the full price for rice, but he told him he's selling him Yafes, and it was rice. So the Lekeach, so the Meichas.
Why was he paying rice?
He paid the full value of rois. That
He
meaning
told him he sold
he told him he's selling yafis, but he was paying the price of rois or yafis. That's what he was selling. He was selling the price of rois as
He gave
yafis.
him a special.
He gave him a special. As yafis as rois or whatever. He didn't lose money. That's the case. The case is just the wording. The quality that he promised him was good quality, and he sold him bad
But
quality.
you paid for those.
You're right. I paid for those, but you told me you give me yafis.
But you see what you paid.
Okay, but so look what happened. Now the Meicha wants to get out of it because the Rayis went up higher, much higher. And the Meicha says, I cheated you. I have to, just like you can back out, I want to back out. So the Lekeich says, no, you can't back out because I no, you give me Rayis. Okay. Also in the case, if the Lekeich comes and wants to back out from the Mekach because the Chitim, what was the case? He told him that he's selling him Rayis, and it was Yafis. At the end, it was Yafis. So if the Lekeich wants to back out of the Mekach because the Chitim fell in price, right? But Taina, that it was a Mekach Tois. So the Meicha could say to him, it wasn't Mekach Tois, because Metchila, when you wanted Rayis, and I gave you Yafis, but I know that you call my Yafis always anyway Rayis. So that's why he can get out of the Meicha could say that. As I state, כי מתחילה מדחתי as achit ma'avodah she'en yafes, el shekrasi lahem rois, shum she'yadaiti she'atem loichem becheskes rois. You call it always rois. I give you yafes, taka, but you call it even the yafes he calls us. So so he says, listen, shekachi dakim shokenim, and therefore you cannot back out. He can tell him. Okay, so 1 minute. So either way, that's the case where there's no loss of money. But where there's a loss of money, I would say they can both back out. Came Rav Chizlan said no. The only one that can back out when one is being cheated in money is the one that's being cheated, not the one. It could be either the meicha or the kaina, but only the one that's being cheated, not the one that cheated him lechatchila. That guy can back out because shalei chayte v'nisker, that the sinner shouldn't make money out of it. We've learned in the Mishnah in the Chazaka that it's red, and it says Lavana, and he found that the chitim were white. From this that the Tana learned of one type of chita is Lavana, so you know that Shchamtis cannot be Lavana. Shmamina, Shimsha, Sukamti. From here Zaraya that Shimsha is red. What does he want to Bavan? Teida Raya, because L'chayda Shchamtis means black.
Cheaper.
Shchamtis means black. It doesn't say cheaper. He wanted red chitim and he gave him white chitim. Okay. So that's called already a mekach tois. He's not giving him. So either one can back out because his mom is not giving him what he wants. But here he wants to bring out Shchamtis. Is not usually a lashon of red. Shchamtis is really black. So, but over here there's no such a thing as black chitim. There's either red or white. So Shchamtis is obviously red. Where do we find that Shchamtis is red? So he says, I'll bring a raya because it corresponds. Shchamtis is a mlashon chama, sun. Where do we see that the sun is red? Teda raya the kasamka tzafro upanya, because right in the morning when the sun comes out, you see it's red, and when it goes down, you see again it's red. And this that during the day you don't see it as red, you see it as white, because nehiden hu delay body. Because of the strong light that's outside, that distracts you from being able to really see the real color of the sun. Till it gets a drop darker, then you can see what the real color of the sun is. No, I'll show you that it's white. Shchamtis is the chama is white. It says Umar Eyu Amoik Mina Oid. It says by the nega, by the tzaraz, that it says it looks deeper than in the skin, like the Kimari Chama Mukim Atzel, like the sun looks deeper than the shade. Okay? So and the Hasam Lavanu. And when you're comparing it to the Tzaras, that you said that the Tzaras looks like that the look of the Tzaras looks deeper than the white, deeper than the skin. So, and you're saying it's like the sun is deeper than the tzel, and just like by the tzaras, what color is it? Lavanu. So too, you're comparing it to a tzaras, so the sun has to be white. Says the Gemara, it doesn't mean Kemare Chama loy Kemare Chama. He means similar to the Mare Chama. It's similar in one way, that what Kemare Chama da Mukam Natzel. Just like by the sun, it's deeper than the shade, not in the color. That Veloy Kemare Chama, but not in the exact color of the sun. Dilo Hasam, because by the Tzaras, Loven. By the Tzaras is white. The Hacha here, by the Mare of the Chama, the color of the Chama is red. Is red. In fact, the Gemara, according to what you thought the Chatchila that it's compared to Tzaras, it's white. How could you think it's white? Or Kasamka Safru Panya. We know right in the morning when you see the sun, it's red, and when it goes down, it's red. So how could you say? How did you have Havamina that the sun is white? So he says, Bit Safra the Chofa Beivar de Gan Eden. In the morning, the sun passes through Mizach, and Mizach is passing through the Gan Eden. It says, Vayita Hashem Elokim Gan Eden Mikedem. So Mizach. And that's where the red roses are. So when the sun passes the red roses, it looks red. And it says, Ubefanya, and then in the evening, it says, the Chofa Pisr de Gehenim. By night, it passes the area of the Gehenim. It's a fire dick. And the fire is red, so it passes through the Gehenim. That's why the sun looks red again when it goes down.
The original is white?
Is white. We could have thought it's white.
Gehenna is on both sides now?
No, Gehenim is a Maitiv. Gan Eden is Mikedem is on the east.
But now he says Bakir.
Don't sit in Maitiv, that's the Gehenim side. Go to Mizah.
So
Oh, Vikedami Ivcha means like this. Others say that when you're in Kedem, in the east, the red is coming from Gehenim because the Maitiv side is shining, the fire is shining on the sun. From the sun. It's shining onto the sun, the Gehenim.
It's like a mirror.
Right, so it's coming from Maitiv onto Mizah from Gehenim. When it's a Maitiv, so it's coming, the shine from Gan Eden is shining onto Maitiv, and that's why it's red. That's all he means by the opposite. Okay, in the Mishnah we said, Yayin b'nimtza chaymetz. If he told him he's selling him wine, and then he told him it was vinegar, that's called a mekach tois. In chitim yafis v'rois, that's not a mekach tois, because it's one min, it's used for the same thing, it's just lower quality.
Why is it allowed to back out? Look what you did.
Because you sold something totally different.
Well,
You sold yayin. You ask for potato chips and they give you popcorn. Is that the sale? You wanted potato chips. It's not the same thing. Here, you wanted wine. I give you vinegar. Wine. I give you eggs. What do you mean eggs? I want wine, not eggs.
So what do you mean the Muslim can have charata?
Both of them could have charata, either one, because that's not what I asked for. It's not what I asked to sell me. I told you sell me wine, not eggs.
So who's having charata? The Muslim can say, I want to give you the good stuff now. I want to give you wine.
Either one can back out of it, because it's not the item that was asked for and sold. It was two different items.
So the whole sale is bought.
It's but that's called a mekach toris, yeah. In fact, you want to let us say our Mishnah follows every way Rabbanan. Doesn't follow the Rabbanan. The Tanya that we learned in the Braisa, Yayim v'chometz min echadru. By Yayim v'chometz, it's one min. The Torah says by Truma, I'll just read the pasuk. It says, V'harimoisem imenu Trumas Hashem. The word umemilas mimenu nilmada shetruma tzricha liyos me'oisem min tfua oy pri shehi mufresh salav. As when you give truma, you cannot take truma from one man for another man. Truma has to be from the same man. So here, when somebody is over here, Rabbi says, even by shnei minim, okay, yaim echemetz is one. I'm sorry, min echadu. Rabbi Yametz shnei minim. So according to the Chachamim, since yaim echemetz is considered as one min, right? Because you could give Maisa from Yayin for Chemetz for Yayin, because it's the same thing. It's one min. So to have it in like Chitim Yafis Berais, we should say wine is the good quality, and the Chemetz is the bad quality. And we say by Chitim Yafis Benimtzo Reis or Reis Benimtzo Yafis. So since it's the same min, the mekach is not considered as a mekach tois. A mekach tois is only if it's two separate minim.
It's one min.
But here, the chachamim considered it as one min. That you could take off myself from chametz for yayin. So you want to know.
So what's
It's nishkin. What? So you said it could only go according. We said it's a mekach tais. It's 2 minutes. So our Mishnah cannot go according to the Rabbanan because it's 2 separate minutes. And when it comes to truma, only the Chachamim said it's the Chachamim said it's 1 min. So our Mishnah cannot be going according to the Chachamim. It could only go according to Rabbi. Says you want to know afilu temer Rabbanan. You could even go according to Rabbanan who says it's 1 min. Because how can like Rabbanan alei the Rabbi? When did the Rabbanan argue on Rabbi? It's considered as 1 min. Only when they gave to Maisa Utruma that it's considered as 1 min. Yain v'chaymetz. Ukid Rabbi Ilah. And like Rabbi Ilah. From where do you know that one can take from bad quality onto the good quality? Shetruma say truma that the truma will still be truma. Shenema because in the pasuk it says it says you shouldn't have the sin by taking something bad and being mafresh truma for the good. That's terrible. You're giving truma from bad for the good that you took for yourself. That's a sin. But if you're going to say yaim v'chaymetz are 2 separate minim, what's v'achet is though? There's no sin. It was never truma. Let him now just take off good truma. The Torah considers it as a chetz. The Chachamim say, why is it a chetz? Obviously because says lama. Right? Imenik. He's giving the same thing. Imenik kadesh lama. Why is the person a chayta if it's considered as 2 separate minutes?
It's like a kai.
Yeah, the shvach ma'aser there. From here you see that one who takes off from Ra for Yafa, it's a truma. He has fulfilled the mitzvah of truma. It's not like he could do a do-over, and he was able to aveda. The kul yalma. That everybody agrees. There are those that need vinegar for their ingredients, and there are those that need wine for their ingredients. They're used for 2 separate dishes. You can't use things that need vinegar and put in wine, and things that need wine put in vinegar. They're made for 2 separate shimushim, and they're 2 separate completely tastes. So therefore, Benegay to Mekal Memkes, talk, it's considered as 2 separate minutes. But for Benegay to Tumas and Maises, it's considered as 1 minute. Sagt die Mishnah, one who sells paytas to his friend, Mashach, if he, the Lokeach, made a Mashiach on the paytas, and here the Rashbam says that he already made a price with him. He set a price, how much is each pound of paytas, or how much is each kilo. Okay, or liter, whatever it is in the drink. So he sells paydays, and then he did the Mashiach, but he didn't count how many pounds there is. But he told him every pound is $5. It's going to be 5 pounds, he'll pay $25. And he made a Mashiach on it, and he knows the price. But he just doesn't know how many pounds he has yet.
Maybe it's less. Maybe it's less.
No, per pound is $5. So, and he made a Mashiach, and now we're going to figure out how many pounds you took. That's fine. It's a koneh. The sale is gone. It's done. It's a done sale. Okay. But what's if it was the reverse? Madat, he measures the paydays, right? He measured the paydays. He didn't yet do a Mashiach to be kind of the paydays. He didn't find out yet the price, and now he's trying to find out like koneh. Just by measuring how many pounds there are, that's not a kinyan. We're soon going to get to it. Hagbah is a kinyan. There wasn't a hagbah. It was just being made. It was putting on the floor and counting and seeing how much there was. No
hagbah. Let's say he's telling me each apple is a dollar.
He didn't tell him that. That's not the case here. He brings down.
He wanted to know how many apples there are, right?
He says he measured it in the kelim of the moicha. If it would have been in the kelim of the lekeach, so it would have been like his own chatzah is being kind of the paydas. Here he was putting it in the paytas of the Meicha, and the Mishnah is talking about. So he never made a kinyan. There was no Mashiach. Okay. And let's say like Bensi said, there was Akbar. So he says that Akbar wasn't done with his keli. It was done. It was the Meichas
What, he
keli.
picks up the fish?
No, we're talking about that he was using the keli to accumulate the paytas in the keli of the Meicha. If he was a smart dude and he was in the rishus of the Meicha, so how is he going to be kind of the paytas? He says, let me rent the place where the paytas are on.
Rent it.
I'll rent it. I'll give you $1. You'll let me have it for 5 minutes, and it'll be my karka, and it will be kind of mitzad my chotzer. The chatzeri is kind of the paytas.
Why does he need to do that?
Because he's in the meichas hashus. In the meichas hashus, even Mashiach won't help. So how is he going to be kind of? How is he going to be kind of the paytas? What we say, the place where the paytas are lying on, I'm renting. Here's $1 for 2 minutes. So now the karka was my karka was kind of the paytas.
How's he a big, how many people on the
That's a pikeach. He comes up with an idea how to be kind of, even while it's in the meichas field, where normally no king would help unless it's Akbar. But otherwise it won't help.
He gives him COD cash.
No, but you still have to do a kinyan. You still have to do a kinyan. Somebody who buys flax from his friend, that's small bundles. It's very easy to pick up. So something that you're able to do kinyan Akbar, you're not allowed to do Mashiach, you have to do Akbar. So Mashiach is by a boat, a behema, he gives the dugmais before. But those 3 cases, by heavy big things, that's where it helps. But normally light things you have to do Akbar. Until he moves it from one place to another, he doesn't mean that you have to move it. You can do just Akbar. But B'chlal, somebody who's picking up a light thing, he's taking it to go. How do you say it? Take it to go? That's how it usually. That's what cash and carry. Yeah, there is a store called Cash and Carry. They're electric. And if it was connected to the karka, so all he has to do is vetalish kolshu, and he ripped a little bit off the karka. Kana, he was kind of all the pishta. And the Gemara will explain how. Rabbi Yasi said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Modat, if the Meicha measured v'hiniach al gabi simta, and he placed it in an area of a simta. Simta is a side street off to the Shusarabim. It's a side street, and everybody's allowed to use it. And it's like everybody's. It's like a chotzer. It's not a Shusarabim. It's like a chotzer shel shneim. It's like a chotzer that belongs to a couple of people. Kana, he's kind of, even though he didn't do ma mashicha. Amalei Rab Zedel Abasi, Shemalei Shama Rebbe. Maybe Rebbe didn't hear from Rabbi Yochanan this halacha. Ela b'meidel esei. Only when will it help in a simta in the side street that the lekeach should be kaina? If the paytas were put into his pitcher and the pitcher was in the simta, it was in the side street. That's how he was kaina with the chotzer, because the simta is not exclusively the lekeach. It belongs to everybody. So in order that it should become his, it has to be in a keli, in his own keli, and then it's in the simta. So the simta can be, it allows him to be kainah, to make a mashicha, to be kainah with that keli. That's how he says.
What's wrong with the keli alone?
The keli alone is,
Keli, no?
but he has to do a mashicha. Mashicha simta has to be
his own property.
He has to have a mashicha. There was no mashicha. He's just putting paytas in the keli, and this is his
So
property.
if he picks up the keli, so he wouldn't know.
Here we're talking about it was heavy. Mashiach helps to pull it to you. And the kupa is his. So it's like his chotzer to be kaina, and he has the rishus to place it there. Okay, and the kupa is designated specially for him, and the karka of the simta is not exclusively his. So the kupa helps that he should be kaina. Amalei Ravasi said to Rab Zera, "Dami haimer habanon kidloi gamri in shishmaita." He says this Talmud Chacham looks like those people that never learned halacha in their days. Modat l'seich kupasei memrabai. If he put it in his own kupa, do we need him to say that? He's kind of within chotzer. What's the shaila? Why would he have to say such a I know we need somebody to tell us such a din. If he put it in his own kupa, his kupa was kind of for him. So Kibnulay, I like Kibnulay. Did he accept it from him, this kasha, and therefore he would paskin even if you put it on the karka of the simta itself, does it become his or not? With Meshicha, does it become his or not? So Toshma, coming here on the line to you. Rabbi Yani said in the name of Rabbi. Rabbi Yani was Rabbi Yochanan's teacher. Chatza Shutfim, Koinin Zemizeh. A chatzah which belongs to two partners, each one can be kaina mekach from the other. My love, al gabe karka. Is it or not? We're talking about a chatzah that belongs to two people. You kaina it, even if it's on the karka, not in somebody's, not in a kupa that belongs to him. So the lekeich can be kaina through the karka of the chatzah that belongs to a couple of people. So the same thing I should say by simta. Says Gemara loy. It's not talking about that he was kaina from the karka. The way the Mishnah says, the only way he's kainit by a chatzah shutfim, the chatzah that belongs to a couple of people, if it was placed in his pitcher, and that's how he was kainit.
And then the card is kainit.
But if he placed the mamish on the karka, so it's a chatzah meshutafes. It's not exclusively his. So maybe he's not going to be kainit. Says you want to haknam nistabes. So too, it's reasonable to say. If he measured the paydays and he placed it on the simta, like Kana, he's not kaina. And we just said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, who said that? Rabbi Asi said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that he is kaina. Here it says Rabbi Yaakov in the name of Rabbi Yochanan is not kaina. In the beginning of Mani, we said Rabbi Asi said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan he is kaina. How do we make sense out of this? It's both Rabbi Yochanan. Kan by Rabasi, who said the name of Yochanan is kaina, is b'maydel l'seich kupasei, that it was put into the kupa of the lekeach, and that's why he was kaina with the kupa in the simta. But he placed it in the kupa that was in the simta. That's why he's a kinyan. Kan by Rabbi Yaakov Shem Rabbi Yochanan said he's not kaina, but made agabe karka, that he placed the mamish on the karka. Shma mino yavaraya. Tashma says, I'll bring you another raya. It says, Madat loy mashach loy kana. If he measured and he didn't do a meshicha, he's not kana. My la besimta. Why wasn't he kana? Because he put it on in the simta, on the karka. So the Gemara loy, this nishke raya. B'shus harabim. He placed it in the shus harabim. And the shus harabim, meshicha doesn't help. Ihachi fag Gemara ema reisha. Look, it says in the reisha. No, simta is not in the shus harabim. So he answered, no, it wasn't in the simta. When it said Mada Veloy Mashach, that he measured and he didn't do a Meshicha, he's not Kaina, so we thought even in the Simta he's not going to be Kaina. So he says, no, it was a Rishus Rabin. It says in the Reisha, Mashach Veloy Madat Kana, it says Beferish he is Kaina. So, and you're saying it's talking about a Rishus Rabin. How can we be Kaina? Meshicha Rishus Rabin be Kaina? Well, Habai Rabbi Amit Havayu, Bai Rabbi Bolsei, Mesida Kaina. Mesida is the only kinyan that can help in Rishus Rabin. Is a kinyan b'Rishus Rabin. And it helps even by a chatzah that doesn't belong to both of them. Meshicha kaina b'simta, but Meshicha is a kinyan in the side street by a simta. U'b'chatzah she's shel shneim. V'hagbar kaina b'chol makom, and hagbar everywhere. Even in the moiches Rishus. But it's helpful. Even in the Rishus. Because it belongs to everybody. It belongs to them also. Meshicha can help. Rishus Rabin doesn't belong to anybody, but a simta does belong. So Meshicha will help him to be kind of.
From one Rishus to another Rishus? Is that what he's saying?
No, he's saying Meshicha, just by pulling it, he's pulling it into his Rishus. He puts it Rishus Rabin because it doesn't belong to him, but a simta does. The karka, everybody is a balabas, so he brought it in. He doesn't call it that. Okay, listen, it's his property. So you can make a Meshicha in your property, you're kind of. So he said, but not in a Rishus Rabin. So how could you say it's talking about Rishus Rabin? So he says, my Mashach, Nami de Ketani, this time we learned Meshicha and that Mishnah. Yeah, it was a Rishus Rabin, but not just a Rishus Rabin. He was Meshach, Rishus Rabin Simta, and that's how he was kind of. Like, your mother really? He took it from the Rishus Rabin to the Simta? Yihachi Yema Seifa. Look what it says in the Sefer. If you're talking about it was a Shus Rabim, it says Im Hoya Pikeach, if he was a smart man, and so and that means he was. It says Seiches Mekayman. He should rent the place from the Meicha. Vibe Shus Rabim. How could it be man not from who's he renting it? And you want that piece, the Sefer Hachikama. You have to add words in the Sefer. Be'im b'shus ba'alami. If it wasn't the shus of the Bailim, im hoye pikeach. If he's a smart man and he wants to be connected, even in the shus of the Meicha, seichas mekayma, he should rent that place.